What's your thoughts on people, especially nowadays, which I think is awesome, but everyone's like, I want to chase my passion. I really want to have a career or start a business I'm super passionate about. I'll tell you my quick story. I was not passionate about becoming a sales rep selling copiers, but guess what? I was winning. That made me money. That money I put into real estate. Do I love real estate? Sure. I kind of do actually love real estate. I love the, way I'm able to provide for people, do furnished living, have entrepreneur houses. But at the end of the day, I didn't make my money through my passion. I made it through big commission checks that I was able to then fund my passion. So I kind of have a different way to think about it where I'm like, hey, go make your money however you can, especially early on, and then you can kind of chase your passion. But what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I got really lucky because the first business that I got into, I was actually extremely passionate about. Like, I was absolutely sold out believer that Vimo was the best thing on the planet. I will die on this freaking hill, okay? And that was a reason that I was able to freaking work so hard. Like, I sacrificed everything for it. My girlfriend broke up with me for it. I started failing out of school from it. All my fraternity members thought I was a freaking loser for it after like being a cool like person in it. Like it was just I sacrificed it, and it was because I was actually passionate about that thing. And so if you are lucky enough to find a business that can make you money and you're passionate about it, you just consider yourself blessed and freaking run. Okay. Just run. With that being said, what I have now learned is that I am the exception and not the norm. The vast majority of people do not start off with something that they're very passionate about. And the reason for that is they don't know what they're passionate about. Like I like to think of it, it's like imagine if you go to a new country, and I'll give an example of this. I went to China when I was in seventh grade, and I had family that lived over there. So we spent like a week up in China or a week and a half. I am like naturally a relatively picky eater. And so like we went to a buffet and there's all of these different foods that are there. And I didn't know any of the foods other than the white rice. That was it. That was the only food that I knew that I liked. And so no joke, for an entire week, I ate white rice for an entire week. That was it because it's the only food that I knew. So that's how I lived that life. And that's how most people go through their career where they think they know what they want. And so they just do this one thing or they focus on that or whatever. But like if I were to go back to that experience, what the best way for me to have dealt with that would be, all right, I'm at a buffet. I don't know anything. I do know that I like the white rice, but maybe I like some of this other food as well. And so I should have tried all these other foods at this buffet to see what I like most. And it's maybe after trying a bunch of these foods, I'd be like, yeah, it's the white rice for me. And I would have gone back to that. But I don't know. I don't know. And you don't know unless you try. And so what I really encourage people that are young is like, get in the game, and like go out there and try a bunch of stuff because that's the advantage that you have of being young is that like you can fail and get back up. Like I have a kids, I got a family now. Like failing is much harder because the stakes are higher. Like when I was young and if someone on here is young and listening to this, like the stakes aren't as high for you. You can fall down, get back up, and it's all good, because the point right now in the beginning of your journey, yes, you want to make some money and that's great. But what you really want to do is you want to get better. You want to learn. You want to improve your skills, improve your mindset, because the reality is as you become more, you will make more. And so if you can focus on your personal growth and development, and that's a key thing that you drive through, then it makes everything else much easier regardless of the path that you end up going and choosing. And so it's a long-winded answer to your question, but my point is it's like if you can find the passion, amazing. But I don't think that's the thing. It's like, because here's the thing is if you are not prepared, even if you find your passion, you will not succeed because you don't have the skills. You don't have the stuff. So focus on your own personal growth and development first, and then go out there and find that passion.
You mentioned losing friends, and I'm sure those friends were the friends you probably should have lost and you probably don't want around. But how important is association and environment and just, that circle around you of those people, that friendship?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally everything. I mean, I really believe in what Jim Rohn says that you become the average of the five people that you spend the most time with. I don't necessarily think that that has to be just who you're physically around. I think now with the internet, you can be around friends and mentors online. You listen to podcasts, you listen to, various things on YouTube and stuff like that. And you can get access to people that was never possible to get access to in the past. And you can make that be your circle essentially. And that's important. But oftentimes you are going to be the average of the five people you hang around the most because for me, my friends at the time, and again, they're nice people, they're good people. I don't judge them at all, but we weren't all that much friends. We were more like drinking and partying buddies. That's really what we were. And it was like when I'm around them, they're trying to, shame me for not getting blackout drunk with them. And I don't blame them because I was on the other side of that too, at some point. And so it's like that's how they know me, and that's how I knew them, and that was our association. But I grew out of that. I didn't want that life anymore. And so I had to go out there and move and evolve and get to that next level. I mean, there's a really cool story of it's like out in I forget the name of the tree. I think it's the redwood, right? The redwood tree out in California that's freaking giant, right? Like you can literally drive a car through the base of these trees because they're so wide. Okay, that's how like huge these trees are, hundreds of feet tall. But then if you go into the gift shop of that exact same place, you can find these little mini redwoods that are like 3 feet tall. And the question is like, well, why is it that some of these redwoods are freaking 300 feet tall and this one is 3 feet tall? And the answer is because of the environment that they're in. That mini redwood has a little pot that limits the size of the roots. And so, because the roots can't get any bigger than what that pot allows it, the roots determine the size of the tree. And so, it's the environment that determines the size of the roots. So, bringing it back to people, your environment will determine your roots, your personal development, your growth, and you're going to be limited by that environment. So, do anything that you can to be able to surround yourself with people who are limitless, who see more in you than you see in yourself. And that is going to give you a massive competitive advantage in the marketplace.
All right.